Hey man, got to start things off right. You know what I'm saying? You only get one chance to make a first impression. That's funny. Hi, Lucinda Bassett here, coming to you live from Los Angeles, California, where we are in deep shit. Okay. I don't know how we're going to do Thanksgiving, but you know, we're working on that one. We are moving into the holidays. I dressed up for you guys. Look at this fabulous freaking jacket. Does this rock? All right, I have to show you the back. Wait. You ready? Is that badass or what? I mean, come on. I have to, once in a while, I have to show you that I can come on this Zoom form without a hat on. And I can even dress up once in a while. You know, isn't it so funny? I have no pants on, of course. But who cares? You know. I do have pants on. I actually, look, I have Ugg boots on. Look, you ready? Woo! Oh God. That's the one thing about this whole COVID thing. It's like we can all be slobs and nobody cares, right? Anyway, I'm so glad you're all here. That jacket is cute. Oh, thank you, Charles. You know, I'm glad you like it. You have good taste, so if you like it, then I know it's really good. So this computer has no camera. Who is that? What? Turn your camera on. Are you not talking about mine, right? Okay. If you can't see me right now, that is your loss because I look stunning, which is not really true, but I thought I would say that. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about worry. Anybody here worry? I see a few hands. I can see some of you out there. Okay, so look, first of all, I want to bring on one person because there's a lot of people on here right now, and a lot of people I don't know. So if you want to have a chat with me about something you're really worrying about right now, to the point of compulsive obsession, let me know, put it up there, and I will try to unmute you, and we can have a conversation. And I would like to say it's confidential, but you know, it's people on here, but it's an opportunity to talk to the real Lucinda Bassett about whatever it is that you want to talk about. I think the interesting thing is that I love the topic of worry, and I wrote this book. I know it doesn't really look like me. Does anybody have this book, Life Without Limits? I mean, I happen to love this book. I love this book. I think it's just full of great stuff. And there's one chapter, and it's called Worry Your Way to Wealth. And wealth being abundance, good health, manifestation of the things that you want, healthy relationships. Worry your way to wealth. I actually should have called the whole book that. Because believe it or not, and I've talked to some of you who I have coached, the skills of worrying are the same skills some brilliant people have used to become extremely successful in their lives. And if you ever looked up the word worry in the dictionary, it's so awful. I don't know if you've done it, but the definition is ongoing and overwhelming and filled with horrific, negative, synonymous words. Worry is defined as persistent torment, torture, the destroying of one's peace of mind, and perhaps the most correct definition of all, over concern for something impending or anticipated. So if you're someone who sits and worries, and what that means is typically when you worry, you're anticipating something that's happening or going to happen in the future. By the way, most of it doesn't, but some of it could. But the problem is you're wasting your present moment. So what I want to talk about tonight is what worry is, and more importantly, why you can worry your way to wealth. Wealth being happiness, abundance, financial security, good relationships, and good health. So when we talk about this, and I want to share something with you that it takes a certain type of skill. And in this book, I talk about something called worry reversal. Does anybody, I don't know who has this book. See, this is why I'm coming up with a new program, because I have so much new content, and I look at it, I even surprised myself. I'm like, wow, damn, I wrote that. That's really good. I got to come up with a new program here. Anyway, tell Michelle, Natalie, and Ricardo to exercise. Okay, you guys, exercise. Came from a good friend of yours. Get out there, because Listen, when you exercise, you release endorphins, and an hour's worth of cardio is better for you than an hour with a therapist. And you really you get rid of a lot of that adrenaline, and you feel empowered and you feel stronger. And by the way, it takes a while to get used to exercising. At first, you're like, oh my god, I don't want to do it. But then you get out there, and the more you do it, the better it feels, and it becomes an addiction. It becomes a positive addiction. And that's what worry can be. Worry, you can, if you can take the negative traits that make you worry, and you use them to set goals and manifest things in your life and create a plan of action, then worry can be a very positive tool. Sigmund Freud, well, I actually want to start with, let's see. Well, Sigmund Freud's a good one, but Sigmund Freud is a psychiatrist, was a psychiatrist, one of the most famous psychiatrists of our time, and he was a terrible worrier. He was full of angst. He worried about his sex life. He worried about money all the time. He was overly concerned about his rivals, um, and his own fears and own worries overcame him so much that he went on to create all these theories like the dream theory and the Oedipus theory. And the guy was brilliant, and if he would have thought about it, he would have created a theory about worry, but he didn't. Sir Isaac Newton is another example. He was often labeled, I'm going to say, crazy and mad because of his quirky ways. One of his quirky ways was he was a tremendous and extensive obsessive worrier. He was a hypochondriac. He worried about his health. He worried about fitting in. He obsessed about sin and death and God. And but he used all this energy to inspire himself to just really keep busy. And he was a scientist, and he was one of those people who thought about everything obsessively. And he went on to, become the president of the Royal Society of London. He was eventually knighted. And despite of his hypochondriasis, he lived to be 85 years old. This is all in this book. Um, he created calculus. I mean, that you've got to sit and think about these brilliant people who were obsessive warriors back in their day. They would have created a theory for it, and I've created a theory for it, and it's this in this book, which I highly recommend, by this beautiful, brilliant woman, called Life Without Limits. And the skill that I want to talk to you about is called worry reversal. And you take anticipation, for example. So anticipation, planning, analyzing. You should write this down. Anticipation, planning, analyzing, creativity and visualization, desired outcome. Those are the steps that we use when we worry, that we can use to manifest the things we want in life. It's just worry reversal. You step back and you say, okay, instead of making myself sick about this, how can I use some of this to get things that I want? Instead of worrying about the things that I don't want to happen, how can I use that analytical creativity and that visualization and that anticipation to create the miracles I want in my life, to get that book deal, to get that fabulous relationship with that beautiful person, to change my business plan, to change my life, to lose 20 pounds. Instead of sitting, worry is worthless. The average person spends 20 hours a week worrying, and worrying is draining. It's unhealthy. It makes you sick. It creates sleepless nights. It makes you second guess yourself. It makes you second guess other people. It's negative energy. If you're a worrier and you know who you are, believe me, the good news is great warriors make great goal setters. It's the same skill set, and it's in this book. And the best thing for you to do is to understand, and I want you to write this down. Anticipation simply means you're thinking about what's going to happen ahead of time. When you worry, you anticipate the worst thing happening. Oh my God, I'm going to get cancer. I'm going to lose my job. We're never going to get through this pandemic. I might get COVID. When you set goals, when you use that anticipation to sit down and write out goals for yourself, you also anticipate, but you expect good things to happen, and you fantasize and you start to set goals and intentions about all the possibilities about what you want. Planning. When you worry about something bad happening, you worry about what will happen, and you begin planning ways that you might even die and how sick you're going to get, and what if nobody can come to the hospital, and that's not healthy. Okay, you need a plan of action so that you can make good things happen. For example, if you're sitting there planning the way you're going to die if you get COVID, why don't we plan how we're going to stay healthy so we don't get COVID? Take supplements, talk to your doctor, have a plan of action in case you tested positive for COVID. I mean, there are all these things you can do to feel like you have control. Analyzing. When you worry, you examine the possibilities and all the details, and you anticipate things going wrong. You anticipate someone leaving you. You anticipate losing your job. When you analyze a goal, you think of all the options. You begin to think of all the possibilities. You think about the people that are doing things you want to do and how you could do what they're doing. How you can make things happen to get what you want. You get specific. You start writing out intentions. So we go back to anticipation, planning, analyzing, and then creativity and visualization. You guys, worriers are some of the most creative people I've ever met in my life. Like, I've worked with, like, I don't know, a million people now, and you guys have the most ridiculously stupid creative imaginations. And I know that those of you that have coached with me, I've said, and what do you think is going to happen? Oh, I think you know, I'm going to pull over and I'm going to crash on the highway, or I'm going to have a heart attack. This is like a 30-year-old. I'm going to have a heart attack driving down I-75 in Ohio, and I'm going to get in an accident. I'm like, okay, that's not going to happen at 30 years old. Have you had a physical? Yes. Do you have heart conditions? No. Is there heart disease in your family? No. Then why do you think that's going to happen? I don't know. I'm just worried. Or I'm worried I'm going to lose my mind in the middle of a speech that I'm giving, and I'm going to embarrass myself. Has that ever happened? No. Why do you think it's going to happen? I don't know. Because when you do that, that's like worrying that your hair is going to turn green. Would you sit here tonight and waste 20 minutes of your time going, oh my God, ever since that Zoom call, I've got this really weird, scary feeling that my hair is going to turn green. I don't know why. I just can't stop. I'm afraid I'm going to get up tomorrow and I'm going to have green hair. Would you do that? No. So why are you worrying about going insane, or having a panic attack that's going to kill you, or driving off the road? I mean, listen, you've got to be careful. And of course, we're worried about getting COVID. But what I'm trying to get you to understand, that creativity and visualization is very, very powerful when you use it to worry about your husband leaving you, or getting sick of cancer, dying of cancer, or losing your job, or not being financially safe. So the average person spends 20 hours a week worrying. I want you to journal this week. I want you, honestly, you're going to be shocked. I want you to track how much time you spend this week worrying. And I want you to track what you're worrying about. When you use creativity and visualization to set goals, it doesn't make you feel bad or frightened or worrisome. In fact, and this is how you know the difference, it makes you feel energized and empowered. You're brainstorming about all the wonderful things you could do to lose 20 pounds, how good you're going to feel when you pull on your skinny jeans, how great you're going to look at Christmas, when you're not going to a Christmas party because of COVID. No. But you start visualizing about how great you're going to look in the spring when you lose 20 pounds, and you're going to start visualizing the person you're going to meet when you let go of bad boyfriend, because now you're strong and empowered because you've been doing these Zoom calls with me for 6 months and your whole life's changing. So when you visualize and you use your creative imagination to start setting goals and intentions for yourself, you're so busy doing that you're not sitting there wasting your time. Worry is just trash. It's wasted thought time. It's just, you might as well just, go watch a stupid rerun of Seinfeld. I don't know, because it's wasted time. I'm not saying that Seinfeld is wasted time, but I'm one of those people that I love to brainstorm. I love to think about, and if I get this done, then this could happen, and that could happen, and this could be a possibility. So take the creative energy when you're over analyzing, you're overthinking, you're dissecting everything. You have a creative, vivid imagination, and you're passionate, but you're worrying. I want you to turn that around. That's the skill of worry reversal. And I want you to use that time to goal set, to set plans, to set intentions. And you're like, well, about what? Well, I would say, what are the top three? And I want you to do this week. What are the top three worries in your head right now? Write them down. Just write them down. I want you to do it. Do this. I'm worried I'm going to get COVID. I'm worried I've gained too much weight. I'm worried I'm not going to keep my job. I'm worried my relationship's not going to make it. Whatever. Okay. I'm worried I'm going to go crazy. I'm worried I'm going to have a panic attack driving down the highway. And then I want you to back up, and I want you to, this week, I want you to use those worries, and I want you to do worry reversal. So what's the opposite of that worry? In other words, I'm worried I'm going to have a panic attack driving down the highway, and I'm going to be afraid to drive. The opposite of that would be, I'm going to focus on setting up a plan so that I can get out and drive comfortably, so that I'm excited about driving. I'm going to set up a plan to go to somewhere 10 miles away. I just did this with a client, and have lunch at a little restaurant with my friend outside. And I'm going to use my worry as motivation to create abundance and good health and confidence in myself. And that's the skill of worry reversal. I've read Panic to Power. I just ordered all your tapes. Yay, you're gonna love them. I don't get any money from those anymore. I sold it. Probably a big mistake, but anyway, life goes on. All right, so the other thing that I love is the idea of, what is your desired outcome? So what is your biggest fear? What are you worried about? And what is your desired outcome? What is the opposite of that worry? And how can we set intentions and create a plan of action using your creativity so that we can get you to your desired outcome, which might be to lose 20 pounds, or to end up in a healthier relationship, or to feel comfortable driving on the highway, or to stop worrying about losing your mind. Because you can get there, and you can use all those skills you use to worry to use your analytical personality, your creativity, your overthinking, your forward thinking, and your planning and your desired outcome to get you where you want to be. And that's the skill of worry reversal. And one of the things I also think that you should try, which I really love, it's called planned or set aside worry time. And it's kind of crazy, but it really, really works. And what that looks like is, all right, I'm sitting there, and you're having a day, and you're worrying about your kids, and you're worrying about money, and you're worrying about COVID, and you're worried about Thanksgiving, and where's everybody going to sit? And Thanksgiving is enough to kill everybody right now. Okay. And so what do? You set aside a time of day. Maybe it's, 5 o'clock at night. I think late afternoon is a good time. And you say to yourself, I'm not going to worry about this today. I'm going to worry about it tonight at 6 o'clock. And then you set a limit. I'm going to let myself worry at 6 o'clock tonight for 15 minutes. And that worry time is when you sit down and you write down what you're worried about. And you say to yourself, okay, what am I worried about? A, is it realistic? Is it rational or irrational? Rational means, of course, I'm worried about getting COVID. There's really a pandemic. Irrational is, I'm going to lose my mind and go crazy from a panic attack. Okay. Rational is, I'm going into a bit of a depression because of this pandemic, and I'm scared I might get really depressed, and then so the other side of that would be, I'm going to talk to somebody, I'm going to start working out, I'm going to take care of myself, I'm going to avoid alcohol and caffeine. Irrational is, I'm by myself, and during this pandemic, and I'm really scared. I'm afraid I'm going to really just go crazy and lose my mind. So first of all, is your fear rational or irrational? And if it's either one, sit down and say, do I need to get more information? Do I need to talk to a professional to help understand if my worry and fear is rational or irrational? Do I need to underreact to this and look at it from a different perspective? Maybe I need to take a time out. I love that. We'll talk about that in a minute. Time out means step back for 10 minutes to 24 hours and underreact. So do the opposite of what you know. Don't call your worry buddy. That's the word. You know that person you call and go, I'm so worried. Blah, 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 blah. And they're like, I'm worried too. No, don't do that. Instead, I want you to take a hot bath or go take a walk and sit down and give yourself time out and then set aside worry time at the end of the day. What you're going to find if you set aside worry time is by the time 5 o'clock rolls around, you're going to forget about what you were worried about. And if you can give yourself 24 hours to think about it, you're going to really forget what you were worried about. And then you use that time at 5 o'clock to, goal set and set some intentions so that what you're worried about doesn't happen. And in fact, you set a goal to get what you really want, which is peace of mind, healthier body, stay healthy and not get COVID, have a healthy Thanksgiving celebration without exposing people in an unhealthy way. Do I need to realize that this worry is irrational or rational? And how can I use positive thought replacement to diffuse it? So I want to say this again. If anybody on here would like to chat about something that you're going through right now, I would love to talk to you. Anybody want to be the guinea pig? Come on. This is your moment. So the thing about worry is that it's not real. It is self-generated. And, we tend to sit back and worry because we think if we worry, we're doing something about it. No, you're making yourself sick and you're releasing, chemicals in your brain and your body that make you sweat, that make your heart beat faster, that make you, feel anxious, that make you feel depressed. And then you can get into that. You ever get in that cycle where you just kind of obsess and you can't get out of it? It's not healthy. So the skill of worry reversal, how can I use these skills of anticipation, creativity, forward thinking, over analyzing, visualization to set goals for myself so that whatever I'm worried about doesn't happen, and what I want to happen, which is the opposite, which will make me feel sane and safe and content, will happen. And that's what we're attempting to get to. Remember to anticipate positive results, okay? Plan for success, not failure. Analyze the possibilities, all the possibilities. If what you are worried about doesn't happen, and in fact, the opposite happens, you create big things. You make magic happen in your life. You meet amazing people. And we've talked about this before. The energy that you put out there is the energy that you're going to draw back in. So ask yourself this week, what kind of energy am I putting out there? Am I putting out the energy of fear and anxiety and worry? Or am I opening those doors and windows and welcoming people in? And am I offering, unconditional judgment and open arms and at a distance because of COVID, but you know what I'm saying? Positive attitude and positive energy. Are you a space that people want to be in because you have such good energy? Because we all have the capability of that. Or are you sitting back just scared to death and worried all the time, which gets you nothing? Worry is just wasted air. Set up a daily worried time. Block your negative, worrisome thoughts and replace them with empowering, real thoughts. Like, for example, I'm afraid I'm going to have a panic attack and lose my mind. No, I'm not. It's just anxiety. It's temporary to go away. Of course I'm anxious. There's a pandemic. Thanksgiving's coming up. The holidays are coming. I'm overthinking everything right now, and that's okay. Doesn't that feel better than, oh my God, I think I'm going to go crazy and lose my mind? What am I going to do when I'm living here all by myself when I go crazy? Who's going to know? The cat's not going to care. Anyway, and I'm laughing because you have to laugh at yourself. You do. You have to see that worry, fear is, and this is a very good analogy. Fear is an emotion that's valuable. Fear wakes you up so that you say, oh, danger, I need to protect myself. Or, oh, that's something in a lump I haven't felt before. I need to go to the doctor. Or, it's 2:00 in the morning and my 16-year-old son's still not home. Fear says, it's a light bulb that goes on when it's, again, rational. Okay, there is a reason for fear. It stimulates you to protect yourself or take action. There's no reason for worry. If you got one, you tell me what it was, because worry's worthless and wasteful. And that's what I'm here to tell you tonight. So we're going to do a little breath session. I've got to get these sessions down to a half an hour, which is hard for me because I love you all so much and there's so much I want to say. But I want to tell you, I love this book, and I'm not trying to sell this book. I don't know if you can get it anymore. Life Without Limits. It's just amazing to me, though. I want to read this. Happiness is to be found along the way, not at the end of the road. For then the journey's over and it's too late. Today, this hour, this minute, this day, this Thanksgiving, the rest of this year, for each of us to sense the fact that life is a gift. It's good, with all of its trials and troubles, and perhaps even more interesting because of them. So if you're challenged by worry, I challenge you to try the spell of worry reversal this week and check in with me next week to let me know how it's worked for you. Again, if you're creative, good worriers make great goal setters. So get back, sit back, and get ready to breathe. And if you're wondering if I'm going to be here next week, no, I'm flying off to the south of France for Thanksgiving. Ha! Just kidding. I wouldn't do that to you guys. I'm not going to leave you. I am making turkey next week and mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes. And you guys are all welcome to come over for turkey if you wear a mask and you get a COVID test before you come. Okay?